You know what I've realized? The number one thing that stresses us out isn't the situation we're in, it's the voice in our head. And we all have it. That inner critic that beats us up for not doing enough. It's also quick to judge others. It's easier for us to spot what's wrong with other people, and we usually assume the worst about other people. But there's one voice that almost no one talks about. And yet I see it in every person that I've worked with. It's the judge of circumstance. It's the voice that says, I don't like the situation and I can't be okay unless this changes. It's what shows up when you're stuck in a situation you don't like and when life isn't going the way you hoped. And you find yourself constantly tense, stressed, irritated, or feeling low because you are resisting what is. And how do I know that? Because I used to have a very strong judge of circumstance. It made me reactive, drained, and constantly stressed, especially over things I could not control. It affected my decisions, my energy, my happiness. And even though it still shows up sometimes, I now know how to catch it and quiet it and shift much faster. And in this episode, I will share what helped me to make that important change because it's truly been life-changing. Welcome to Realizations with Clarissa, where productivity meets well-being. I'm Clarissa Dunan, and as a mother, wife, entrepreneur, and leader, I know how overwhelming it can be to build success while also staying healthy, fulfilled, and present for your loved ones. That's why I created this podcast, to share my realizations and one core truth: that well-being is the foundation of success, happiness, strong relationships, and impact. Here we'll talk about mindset, habits, and simple shifts that bring more energy, calmness, and joy into your life and work. Enjoy the show. I spent at least 5 years feeling deeply unhappy, even though on the outside I was doing well. It started in 2015 when my daughter Sophie was born with Down syndrome. It was hard for me to accept that my daughter had disabilities, and I blamed myself for it. And then when she was 5 months old, we moved to Australia, and after 14 months, we moved to the UK. And for more than 2 years, I felt like I was robbed of the opportunity to be with my family, friends. I was taken away from my favorite food. And then I had no nanny and no maid because in the Philippines, it's so much cheaper to hire stay-in help. And I had no in-person team. So since 2016, when we left the Philippines, I was working from home. I felt socially isolated. And then my marriage had problems as well. And I really, really felt like I was a victim of life. My circumstances weren't nice to me. That's how I felt. And it was really dark. I think that was the darkest moment of my life. But at some point, I realized something important. That it was not my situation that made me unhappy. It was the way I thought about the situation. And the quality of my life was a reflection of the quality of my thoughts. I learned that our brain is wired to focus on what's wrong. Because it's trying to keep us safe. We have a survivor brain. And it's always judging ourselves, others, and especially our circumstances, and always pushing us to stay safe, to do something about things that are quote-unquote unsafe, uncertain, dangerous. So it's always judging. But then judging situations, I realize, is that it keeps us stuck in resistance. I don't want this. This can't happen. This shouldn't be happening. And resistance creates negativity. It blocks acceptance. It drains our energy. Have you ever experienced that? You're always resisting it and it's really causing a lot of negative emotions and you're not able to take meaningful action. So it delays action. It keeps us stuck in that situation. And we end up wasting time for things to change before we let ourselves feel better. It's conditional happiness and it's exhausting. Because how many situations every day do we encounter that we don't, well, the judge in us don't like? We can't take meaningful action if we don't first accept what is. It's like being a wannabe surfer, but always fighting the ocean, saying, oh, I don't like this wave. It's too big. It's too small. You don't become a better surfer that way. You just become really good at complaining. So after this life-changing realization happened, and it didn't happen overnight actually, there was a lot of resistance in the inside until I became more open and I found evidences that supported that insight. So lots of things have changed for me since then. I became less reactive to what's going on outside. I could accept things more easily, and that resulted in having less stress. I wasted less time on negative emotions, and I had more energy to take action. So I became more productive. And most importantly, I became happier because my happiness no longer depended on my circumstances. And it's really, really important to stress this once again, that acceptance is the first step towards change. And acceptance is not being lazy or passive. It's actually a shortcut to peace of mind and the mindset that allows real solutions to show up. Resistance blocks solutions and acceptance reveals them. So the solution that I've seen is that it's important for us to recognize that our thoughts are the main source of stress. So when we have thoughts like, oh, this shouldn't be happening, this is bad, I can't be happy unless this changes. They sound familiar? These thoughts and any other thought actually creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because when you think something is bad, you feel bad about it. And because of how you feel about it, you act in a certain way. You act from stress, you act from fear. And from that, of course, you get poor results. And I learned from Positive Intelligence by its founder, Shirzad Shamin, that we can shift that. We can stop that pattern from affecting our performance, our relationships, our well-being. We can learn to silence the judge. We can catch the judge of circumstance by first acknowledging, oh, that's the judge of circumstance. The thought that what just happened is bad, that's the judge of circumstance. So it's very, very crucial for us to recognize that self-sabotaging thought, and we don't need to believe it. And after catching it and knowing that it's the judge of circumstance, let's celebrate and acknowledge our awareness that the mere fact that we caught it can stop the spiral, the downward spiral, because it loses its credibility. We no longer believe it, that it's the reality about life, about other people, about ourselves, when we know it's just how our brain works. Okay, we can say, this is how I celebrate or acknowledge it. Oh my goodness, good job, Clarissa. Good job that you caught it. Good job that now you know it's not the reality. Okay, now you can relax. So that's the next step. Relax your body, because notice this, that every time you have a stressful thought or a negative thought, it causes a corresponding negative emotion in your body. So the next thing to do is, after acknowledging the thought, you relax your body. And it could be as easy as taking 3 deep breaths. That's enough for you to get out of the spiral and relax. Okay, it's just as simple as that. Catch the thought. Know it's a judge of circumstance, number 1. And number 2, you acknowledge the awareness or celebrate. And then number 3 is to relax your body. And then from there, with a clear mind and a relaxed body, because there's a mind and body connection, right? When your mind is clear, your body is relaxed, and vice versa. Now you're in a better position to find out what to do next. And the best question for you to ask yourself is, what's needed now? What's needed now? So maybe what's needed is for you to have empathy towards yourself or others, or for you to accept what is. There's no point in resisting what already is, right? Or you can convert it into a gift, maybe into a gift of action. There's something that you can do about it. Or maybe a gift of knowledge. What's the lesson that this is giving you, that you can benefit from for many, many years? What strength of character can you build from this? So there are so many gifts that every situation, even the most quote-unquote unfortunate situation, can give you. And I've seen this many, 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 many times in my life. For example, if I didn't have that difficult moment for more than 5 years since my daughter was born until I left the Philippines, if I didn't experience that struggle, all my challenges in my personal life, in my mental health, in my business, then I wouldn't have been given the opportunity to look for the solution, for the answer on how to be happy while being productive at work, fulfilling my purpose. So I said, wow, if not because of those 5 years, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't even have this podcast sharing what's helped me. I wouldn't even be a coach helping people to have more meaningful lives, to be more at peace, to be happier. So see, even the most difficult moments of our life come with a gift. So there's no point really in resisting situations that quote-unquote our judge of circumstance don't like. Because looking back in your own life, how many situations before that you didn't like back then turned out to be what? To be something that has given you what? Lessons. Strength. You're much stronger now because of the things that happened in the past. And the truth is, no matter how difficult they were in the past, you survived. You came out stronger. So there's no point in feeling bad or feeling scared about any situation that would come your way. And that's really reassuring. So imagine what's possible for you as well when you stop resisting what is, when you learn how to accept the reality. You can think more clearly, you build emotional strength, and that's resilience. So you can bounce back faster, you make better decisions, you can move forward with more ease. So it's like becoming a calm strategist or a great surfer. So instead of fighting the ocean, like the previous example I mentioned earlier, you're riding the wave like an expert surfer. So notice that next time that you encounter a difficult situation. So if you experience resistance, ask yourself, Am I fighting the ocean? Or am I riding the wave like a surfer? So I hope that you learn from this personal transformation. This shift has given me personal freedom. I stopped needing to control what should and should not happen. So my peace and happiness no longer depend on what's going on around me. And that's huge. And this is not just good for me, it's also good for the people around me. My daughter loved to tell me that when she's with me, she says, "Oh, I feel happy, I'm calm, and I'm relaxed when I'm with you, Mom." And people I work with say the same, because when I'm calm, I can lead calmly. And we find solutions faster. We move forward together rather than wasting precious time and energy on negativity. And also, some people I work with also share their testimonial with me. I work with a woman who, like me before, spent so many years resisting everything in her life. And it didn't just affect her happiness, but it blocked her ability to grow her business. And she joined my mental fitness program, where she turned these insights into habits within 7 weeks. And that's the key, because insight is not enough. How many times have you had a big realization, a big insight, and then maybe for a few days you were okay, and then eventually you relapsed? Because again, insight is not enough. We need to build new mental habits until they become automatic. And within 7 weeks, yes, it's possible, because this coachee, she told me that she's more at peace. She noticed her daily wins. Before, she couldn't see the blessings or the wins because she was stuck with what's not right here. What couldn't I do? What's missing? And because she's more positive every day, she feels more inspired. She has more productive days. And even though her life hasn't changed, I mean, her external life hasn't changed yet within those 7 weeks, what's more important is that she changed. And that's where real, lasting transformation begins. I hope you got a lot of insights from this episode. And to start turning those insights into mental habits, I have a few action steps for you this week. So start catching your judge of circumstance. So every time you experience resistance with the situation, the circumstance, you catch that as a judge of circumstance, and you tally, maybe on your phone or on a piece of paper, you tally how many times it shows up each day for 1 week. Be curious, be fascinated, and don't judge it, just notice it. And each time you catch it, you celebrate your awareness. Okay? Be thankful that you caught it. And then you relax your body. As simple as taking 3 deep breaths. And that's enough to shift from negative to positive emotions. And ask yourself what's needed now. And from that sense of calmness, it's easier for you to see what's needed now. Maybe it's to accept the situation or to convert it into a gift. Maybe there's something you can do about the situation or something you can learn from, or maybe it will help you to strengthen your character. And if you want help in applying this to your life or business or work, book your free coaching consultation with me. Let's make your growth practical and personal and sustainable. Imagine what becomes possible when your peace, happiness, and personal power no longer depend on external circumstances. And imagine if the insights you gained today didn't just stay in your head, didn't just inspire you today, but they become lasting habits. And what will that do for your performance, your relationships, and your well being? Book your free coaching consultation, and perhaps I'll see you then. If you enjoyed the episode, share it with someone who might need it. And subscribe or leave a review. It will really help spread the message. Until next time, remember, your well-being comes first.